ॐ जयति जगति मायां यस्य कायाधवस्ते वचनरचनमेकं केवलं चाकलय्य ध्रुवपदमपि यातो यत्कृपातो ध्रुवोऽयं सकलकुशलपात्रं ब्रह्मपुत्रं नतोऽस्मि. Some of you have asked me to tell the English translation of this shloka which I have been using. The first day when I uttered the shloka, I told you the meaning, but here I repeat. Kayadu was the name of Prahlada's mother. So Kayadhava is Prahlada's name, son of Kaya. When he was in mother's womb, his father was a terrible asura. His mother was a devotee, and during pregnancy, the women developed special desires. So she desired to hear about God. And Narada used to come to her and tell about God. Now, Prahlada was in the womb, and there itself he caught a sentence from what Narada was telling. So when he came out, he was a born Jnani and Bhakta. So the shloka tells, Kayadava, Prahlada, has won over Maya in this world. Jayati Jagati Maya. Jayati wins Jagati in this world, Maya. Your one sentence, Vachana Rachana means sentence. Vachana Rachanam Ekam. Once hearing your one sentence, Prahlada won over Maya in this world. Then, second line is about Dhruva. Dhruva's father's name was Uttanapad. He had two wives, the elder Suniti, the younger Suruchi. Know the significant names. Suniti, good morality. Suruchi, good taste. And Suniti's son was Dhruva, constant. Suruchi's son was Uttam, best thing in the world. Now this Uttanapad king fell for the beauty or whatever it is of Suruchi. A man becomes addicted to his taste rather than morality. That is the lesson. Now her son, and he started neglecting Suniti in a way. Now Suruchi's son, Uttam, sat on the king's lap one day. Dhruva saw Dhruva was near about. So he also wanted to sit on king's lap. King welcomed him. So both of them sat on the right and left lap of Uttanapad. When Suruchi saw it, she did not like it. She pulled Dhruva down and said, to be fit to sit on king's lap, it should have been born from me. Now that small boy felt not only insulted, but somebody has taken me away from where I was sitting. So he told his mother, I'll go to forest and make tapasya in such a way that I will earn a place to sit upon where nobody will move me. With this intention, he started walking towards the forest. In between, Narada came. And Narada asked him, and Dhruva told him this is the matter. Narada said, my boy, there is no place in the world which is constant. From any place you see, all the world people will pull you down. If you want such a place, that is only by realizing God. There you have a place where nobody can pull you from that seat. Because it is a Swarupa Prapti, nobody can pull you away from there. So he turned his mind toward the right direction, gave him a mantra, and then Dhruva became perfect. So the two cases are different. In one case, he was born Jnani and Bhakta because he heard in mother's womb Narada's sentence. The other one, his direction was changed by Narada, taught by Narada, and he attained his goal of life. And these are the most prominent examples of Narada being a guru or being able to guide people to the real goal of life. So, Dhruvapadam api yato yat krupato dhruvayam. I am Dhruvaha. Yat krupato, by whose grace, Dhruvapadam, a padam from where he will not be changed, yato, reached. Sakala Kushala Patram, that Narada is the store, you may say, or fit for all the good qualities of life. Sakala Kushala Patram. Kushal means meritorious properties. Brahma Putram, Narada is supposed to be son of Brahma. Natosmi. I am bent before him. That is the English translation of the whole shloka. Now, we read from the beginning that his bhakti, the bhakti which Narada is going to teach us on behalf of all the great teachers, is very different from what we think of bhakti. So Narada says that if you want to learn that bhakti by which goal of life is achieved, then keep aside your ideas of bhakti to begin with. Listen to what I am telling you. Once you grasp that, then we shall see how your present bhakti can be brought to the real life. So, for the first 55 sutras, he does not talk about what bhakti we have. Now, the first distinction in the third sutra, he tells about the real bhakti is that it is towards the innermost reality. Asmin. Here he does not take any name. Ram, Krishna, Hari. Not only that, even Ishwar, Brahma, Atma, such names he does not take. He says the innermost reality. Here, as suggested by somebody, there is a Pathaveda, Kasmin, and Ka means happiness or joy. Towards the Ananda Swarup Brahman, but we already seen that Asmin includes Kasmin, while Kasmin does not. So we select this part Asmin towards the innermost reality, which is Satchidananda, which is bliss always. Now, it must a tremendous love towards that reality. And tremendous love means the obstructions in the path of real bhakti is I and mine. God is constantly pulling us. God is constantly pulling every inhabitant of the world. But due to impurity of the mind, we are not feeling that pull. Like in Sri Ramakrishna's example, a needle is always pulled by the magnet, but if it is smeared with dust or dirt, it does not feel the pull. When it is clear, then it feels the pull. So, Naradiya Bhakti means to feel that we are being pulled to God. And how much strong? The only obstacles are me and mine. But if we feel the pull, then it gathers strength. So long as we do not feel the pull, it is weak. When we feel the pull, it becomes so strong that it will make us cross these obstacles of I and mind. That is the meaning of Parama Prema. And Parama Prema Rupa, that means that is how it will appear to us. That will be what our experience will be. Then what is it in its own real nature? So in the third sutra, he says, Amrita Swarupacha, and also its own real nature, it is Amrita, nectar. Nectar is a poor translation of Amrita. Now what is this Amrita? We learned from Narada as a student, Sanat Kumar as his teacher. There the name of God or Brahman is given as Bhuma, the infinite, and Bhuma eva Amritam, yad alpam tad martyam. Bhuma alone is Amrita. What is finite is Nashwar. And also, Bhuma eva sukham nalpe sukham asti. Bhuma alone is happiness. In finite, there is no happiness in finite things. So we identify this Amrita as immortality of the spirit and and happiness which is not dirty, and happiness which is not mixed with pain, and happiness which is not temporary, a permanent happiness of our own nature, that is Amrita. So Amrita is the Swarup. Ananda Swarup Bhagavan, you may say, is the very nature, is the very inside of this bhakti. How we have to understand? Because our own reality is of the nature of Anandam, so we feel it as a full. Ananda and Prema are not different. In the Vedanta literature, Brahman is described as Satchit Ananda. That means there is an objective view of Brahman. But when Brahman is experienced, they call it Asti Bhati Pri. So Ananda and Pri are not different things. Inside joy, what gives us, there we are pulled. We are pulled to that joy which is inside us and which is pulling us. So, because it is of the nature of infinite bliss, permanent bliss, in its own nature, so we feel it as a strong pull which will take us beyond the obstruction. This is the relation between Sutra 2 and 3. And now this Sutra 3, Amrita, though we have tried to explain as best as we could, it is a very abstract thing. So Narada's method of describing that is by telling the changes it causes in those who realize it. So in the fourth sutra he has said, "Yad labdva," getting which man becomes perfect, man becomes Amrita itself, God himself, and Tripta Bhavati, satisfied forever. In the fifth sutra he said, Yat Prapya, it is the biggest achievement of life. And in the fourth, Uman was there, one was struggling. Now, Yat Prapya, na kinchid vanchati, na shochati, na dveshti, na ramate, na utsahi bhavati. We have seen this in detail. In the sixth, he tells us this getting or achievement is nothing but change of consciousness. So, yet gatva. Yet gatva is not knowing some information, knowing something as an object. Yet gatva means realizing which, changing our consciousness into that reality. That is yet gatva. Matto bhavati, stabdo bhavati, atmarama bhavati. We discussed at length twice. The last class, he becomes intoxicated because he is not on the normal plane as we call it. That is real normal. Huh? Our plane is subnormal. So he is on a different plane than ours. So his behavior, action, thinking appears mad-like to us or as if inebriated with wine. And we have seen several examples of Sri Ram Krishna being taken by other people as being intoxicated. Sri Ram Krishna himself asking Holy Mother, have I taken wine? Am I intoxicated? She said, why will you do that? Then why am I not able to put my steps properly? She says, you are drunk from the Kali's Bhavamrut. That is the existence of Kali. That you have drunk. And so you have become intoxicated. And Sri Ram Krishna says, right, she understands. Right, it is. So, but then it ends in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That also we saw by examples. And after Nirvikalpa Samadhi, when he comes back to the world, he finds his Atman everywhere, inside, outside, and is permanently happy in his life. Whether he is with friends, whether he is with men, whether he is with women, whether he is with children, old men, or whether he has no company, he is alone, every time he is happy, that is called Atma Rama. Then this is getting which, realizing which, knowing which, Amrita. So this tells us that that thing is Amrita and that is the real nature of Bhakti. Now in the seventh sutra, he tells the other side. As I said you, for example, if there is a coin made of gold or silver inside, but this side we have that Ashoka pillar, the other side rupees 5 or 10 written. If only one side we see, then it's a counterfeit coin. So if inner pull is how it appears, it must have some other side. And that other side in the seventh mantra is described as Sa na kamayamana nirodharupatvat. It cannot exist along with desires. Because it appears as of the nature of an inner check over our outgoing tendencies. Outgoing tendencies are not suppressed here, not repressed here, but because of the mind becomes so strongly ingoing towards God that it cannot go outside. There is a natural corollary of it. Important because generally, as Swamiji said, we met God or chairman of municipality, give me that, give me that. That is not real bhakti. So, externalization of the mind is checked totally if there is real bhakti. Now, because of this word, nirodha, which appears to be either suppression or repression, Narada has to clarify the word, the meaning of the word. Because, as I said, Freudians or others will jump up. And he said, if you suppress something, repress something, you will get disease later on. That is not normal. Many people these days, I have referred to sometimes again and again, please do not misunderstand me. The American idea is there should be no control. Let everything be free. We will be shattered into pieces if everything is free. And that is what is happening. So, we are not suppressing, we are not repressing, but it is getting checked all the time. The outgoing tendency of the mind is getting checked all the time. So what is this check? Narada has to explain. And so, in the 8th sutra we found Nirodhastu. Tu means what? Remember, Nirodha is not suppression and repression. That is what this word tu is telling us. Then what is that Nirodha? Loka Veda Vyapara Nyasa. This we saw in the last class. Loka Vyapara means our secular activities. Veda Vyapara means our religious activities, rather our spiritual sadhana. Now, I am doing sadhana is not the right spirit. I am doing this or that activity is not the right spirit. So, this check means all these activities are dedicated to God. Thrown away from the field of I, dedicated to God. That means God is working through me. God is doing my sadhana. This is called apparently check. We are not suppressing anything here. We are not repressing anything here. But when God does everything, where is the mind will go? Mind will not go anywhere. So, this is the meaning of Nirodha. But Narada has to tell something more about Nirodha. So, we come to Sutra 9. Tasmin ananyata tad virodeshu udasinata cha. Because that dedication was most important, he took it separately in a sutra. And now two more things he tells as the meaning of Nirodha. Tasmin means in him. Asmin has become Tasmin now. Huh? Tasmin is not that. But if we have already told something about something, and then we say in that thing. So here that does not mean remote. That means that which we have already told you. So Asmin itself becomes referred to as Tasmin, Ananyata. Now this is a great thing. What is Ananyata? Generally people misunderstand Ananyata. Now Narada has not given any name. But if you are devoted to Krishna, we should not think of Rama. If you are devoted to Shiva, we should not think of Vishnu. If you are devotees of Devi, we should not think of Brahman. That is the worst or wrong meaning of Ananyata. This is a big Anyata. Big Anyata. If you take Rama to be separate, Krishna to be separate, Shiva to be separate, what more Anyata you want? But what is Ananyata? I am not separate from God. I have no existence other than God. And not only I, there is nothing in the world which is separate from God. There is nothing in the world which is not a form of God. This is called Ananyata. Ananyata, and this is giving us Nirodha. If I am not separate from God, if I am not a subject, but identified with the subject-objectless reality, why I will get attracted to objects? Why my mind will go outside? Why I shall have this and that? And if there is nothing in the world which is not a form of God, why should my mind go to this or that object? It will go to God alone. So Ananyata automatically results in Nirodha. So Nirodha, second meaning of Nirodha is Ananyata. Ananyata means neither I nor anything in my, neither world nor anything in the world can be separate from God. No existence other than that which is my innermost reality is the reality of the world. Is the reality other than which I don't have anything, other than which the world does not have anything. In Hindi, there is a Kabir line which the sadhus like very much. मेरा मुझ में कुछ नहीं जो कुछ है सो तो तेरा तुझको सौंपते क्या लागत है मोह. There is nothing in me which is mine. So if I say I give my this to God, that to God, what is it? It does not cost me anything to say or to dedicate my thing to God because I have nothing in me which is not God's. So that is Ananyata. Now one more thing. Narada, the great teacher, is very practical. These two theoretical ideas that I have dedicated everything to God and that I am not separate from God, till I realize this, there are many forces in me and in the world which are against this idea, which are against my going to God. In myself there are forces, and in the whole world we will find corresponding forces which do not allow me to go to God, which oppose my going to God. So in spite of this, best Narada takes care of that and says this Nirodha includes tad virodhishu, tad bhakti or tad asmin virodhishu, which are opposed to him or to that bhakti, amongst them udasinata. What is udasinata? Those who attended the Patanjali Yoga Sutra classes, remember, he says if you find people doing bad things, your attitude should be upeksha. Same thing Narada is telling here, that don't bother your head over that. Many people ask me, this is going on in the world, that is going on in the world. Are you going to help it? Or only getting excited over it? Udasinata means apparently indifference. The real meaning is Udasinata, sitting above. For example, somebody's pet dog is quarreling with neighbor's pet dog. Those two people need not get involved. It is something on a very lower plane. Sometimes children quarrel and then parents quarrel. If children are quarreling, it is on their plane. Why should you quarrel? So all these virodhis are on a lower plane. You lift yourself up. Don't be disturbed by these forces which are against your bhakti or against God Himself. We find in society, we find in our own lives, so many forces are obstructing. All the forces are derived from this me and mine only. And the real love is pulling us. It will take us beyond. But till it has taken us beyond, the way it takes beyond is by ignoring apparently these lower things, by making us go above this. That is Tad Virodhishu Udasinata. We'll have to further explain this. Narad will explain. But now he explained Nirodha with these three words. We are not suppressing or repressing anything. If something bad is happening, let us ignore it. Even about the bad thoughts, when somebody approached Sri Ramakrishna, how to control the bad thoughts, he said, if you think of the bad thought, they will gain strength. Neither succumbing is the way, as we say, express, that is wrong. Indulging is wrong. And quarreling also is wrong with the bad thoughts. Ignore them, they will go away. And not only ignore them, think of God, Sri Ramakrishna says. One of his pet disciples, Swami Yogananda, had asked him this question. And he said, think of God more. First he thought Sri Ramakrishna does not know how to solve this problem. And then he thought, let me try what he has told me. So when he pushed his mind towards God, these thoughts vanished. So the thoughts which are inimical to bhakti, whether it is in our mind or in the form of somebody outside, that day I gave you an example. Gopis, while going to Sri Krishna, were obstructed by their husbands or in-laws by locking the room, locking the house from inside. But Shukadev tells Parikshit, they reached him that moment. Nobody could check their mind. Nobody can check anybody's mind. So, if the Virodhi forces are there, you just ignore them apparently. The real word is transcending. Udasinata should be really translated as transcending, going above. Now, here we got three words to explain Niro. Now, Lokaveda Vyaparanyasa is very clear. We understood it and we try to constantly practice it by dedicating everything to God. Not mine, it is yours, it is yours. But Ananyata, how this Ananyata is achieved, and this Tadvirodhi Shudasinata, how it can be practiced, these two questions we ask Narada. Narada anticipates, we ask two questions to him. Sir, how this Ananyata is achieved? Sir, how this Tadvirodhi Udasinata is practiced? Narada says, okay, I'll tell you. So in the 10th Sutra, Anyashrayanam Tyago Ananyata. Here, Anyashrayanam Tyago is not equal to Anandata. Anyashrayanam Tyago is the way to achieve Anandata. Swamiji has described it. Let you have husbands and wives and children and property and house and anything, but let nothing be the support of your life. Don't think this is my support. Even an institution, this is my support. Bank balance is my support. House is my support. Then you are gone. You can never achieve Anandata if you take anything other than God as your support. Anya Ashrayanam Tyago. Tyag. Positively you have to renounce these ideas from the mind. If something happens, my husband will take care. If something happens, my wife will take care. If something can happen, my father will take care. Let me put good money in the bank, that will take care. All these ideas are rubbish spiritually. I'll give a funny example on this. Sri Ramakrishna's disciple Mahapurush Maharaj is sitting among some householder devotees and is repeatedly telling them in Hindi or Bengali, पक्का बंदोबस्त कर लेना चाहिए. Understand? पक्का बंदोबस्त कर लेना चाहिए. You should have a firm arrangement. You should have a firm arrangement. Again and again he tells them. They start thinking, does he want us to have good bank balance? Does he want us to build our own house? What is this pakka bandobasta? So after some time he said, have you understood me? Put your mind in God. That is a pakka bandobasta. Pakka bandobasta means practice, putting your mind in God. That is pakka bandobasta. Not house or money. Jesus has told a wonderful thing about it. A man built his house on the rock, and the wind came and the wind blew and the rain came and nothing happened to that house. Another man built his house on the sand. And when the rains came, when the winds blew, the house was washed away. In this way, he has asked us, rock is only God. Everything else is sand. So, this is the way to Anandata. We may have something, but we should not, in our mind, nothing should be our support other than God. If God is our support, there is a beautiful song by Tulsidas. Some people are afraid of the planets. If Mangal goes this way, what will happen to me? If Guru goes that way, what will happen to me? So Tulsidas says, जब जानकी नाथ सहाय करें तब कौन बिगाड़ करे नर तेरो. Janakinath means Rama, means God. If God is your helper, who can injure you? Soma, Bhugu, Shuddha, Guru or Mangala, all these Grahasi names, Rahu, Ketu, they cannot approach you. Rather, Shani, everybody will become your helper if God becomes your helper. In our proverb also there are many such things. If God is your protector, people cannot even make your hair bend, what to speak of killing you. So, the only support in life is my own reality. We are talking of God up till now. But coming back to Narada, Asmin is our own reality. Our own reality is the only support which we have, nothing else in the world. If this idea is cultivated, practiced in life, that will make you reach the state of Anandata. You will start feeling that I have no existence other than God. The world has no existence other than God. So this Anandata is reached by Anyashrayanam Tyago. Now, 11th. Here, those who are having Tagishan in his book, there is a mistake. Lokavedeshu tadanurukara acharanam tadvirodeshu udasinata. In Tagishan, his book, one cha is added at the end. No, there is no cha here. Cha means something else. Here, tadvirodeshu udasina itself is being explained as tadvir lokavedeshu tadanukula acharanam. How tadvirodeshu udasinata is practiced? Here, Narada is challenging our buddhi. Narada is challenging our thinking. Can you not find out in that Virodhi situation something which is favoring your bhakti? In Lokika, in secular matters, in sadhana matters, if you find the Virodhi forces, can you not find something which is your supporter, your favoring your bhakti? Practice that. That is Udasina. So Narada has the negative thing, Nirodhi has translated positively as dedication. Ananyata he has given us as Annashkanam Tagore. And this Udasinata, which appears as a negative something, he has made us practice positive something. I will give examples from secular as well as spiritual fields. When India became independent, in England, in Great Britain, there were many people who were loving India. Now they became very happy. But one lady started weeping when India became independent. She said, now Jawahar will not go to jail and will not get good books. So, jail was used by Jawaharlal to write books, Discovery of India. Lokmanya Tilak, when he was in the Mandale jail, life term, he wrote the big book on Gita, Gitaras. So, this is a world experience of how Virodhi situation is used for something positive. This is our outlook. Now in the spiritual realm, take jail itself. There were two brothers, minister of a great king, and one of them became a sadhu. Hearing that the other will go away, the king put him in jail. When he was in jail, he got full freedom to think of God. That nobody can check. He was relieved from the ministerial duties. More time he gets. And his other brother somehow wrote a letter, made a letter reach him, in which he had written, Yadupate Kogata Mathurapuri, Ragupate Kogatotara Koshala, Iti Vichinte Manakuru Sustiram, Asadidam Jagaditya Vadharaya. Where has gone Krishna's kingdom? Where has gone Rama's kingdom? So this king and kingdom will always come and go. You understand, you make a dharana of this fact that this world is unreal. And he also escaped the kingdom. Anyway, so in every scene, I will tell a funny story, a real story. One of my students, Jayanta was his name. He became a sannyasi of the Ramakrishna Mission. His name now is Seva Vratananda. He is in Ranchi. But he joined Ramakrishna Mission. His mother was little upset mentally. She did not oppose him. But because the son has gone, and she wrote a letter to him. What letter? My hand is paining these days. She wrote to him, my hand is giving pain these days. And what the boy replied? He'll turn him as mad. He said, Mother, that great book, Dhaneshwari, why not copy it by your own hand? Hand is paining. And the solution this boy gives is that, why not make a copy of Dhaneshwari? Then she was angry a little, but then she thought, because my son has said, let me try. And she started writing Dhaneshwari. And they became so involved that many spiritual books she wrote by her, copied. Where is the pen gone? From where it had come? Perhaps from her mind only. So, Loka Vedeshu Tadanukula Acharanam. When I met her, she said, Maharaj, you have given life to my son, and my son has given life to me. By a simple, he understood, he's a doctor himself. So, he said, Mother, why not copy the Dhaneshwari? So, Loka Vedeshu, we can find Tadanukula Acharanam. And this Anukula Acharanam helped her so much. All pain gone, and she had taken this as a hobby, writing spiritual books one after the other. This is an example, practical example of how Virodeshu Udasinata can be practiced. So Narada is telling us, I have told Udasinata, but it means find out something positive, something anukul, something favoring, and do that. If you can find something favorable and do that, then you will win over this Virodhi. You will transcend these Virodhi forces and you will achieve your goal. So here Narada seems to be challenging our intellect. Can you not find out something positive there? So there is no joy here. That Virodhishu Udasinata is explained as both in secular and spiritual matters, he said. Lokavedeshu. That Anukula Acharanam. Acharan is behavior. Anukul means favorable to your bhakti or to God amongst the Virodhi forces, inside or outside. If you can do that, you will transcend those oppositions. Now, a tremendous sutra comes, apparently irrelevant, apparently misunderstood grossly. What is the first section of the first chapter? First chapter is Bhakti Swarupam. The first section also is Bhakti Swarupam. And what is the 12th sutra? Bhavato Nishchaya Dardhyat Urdhvam Shastra Rakshanam. Bhavatu means let there be. Nishchaya Dardhyat Urdhvam. Nishchaya means conviction. Dardya means firm, unflinching. Urdhvam means after. After your conviction has become unflinching, Bhavatu Shastra Rakshanam. Shastra Rakshanam is not we have to protect the Shastra. We have to follow the Shastra. Now, first let me tell about the misconception. I told in the other class. Some people think conviction is realization, which it is not. In some books it is given, even after realization, what should be there? You should keep to the Shastra. You should be careful. If after realization you have to be careful, what is that realization? And this sprouts from the meaning, because here Narada is suddenly talking not of realization, he is suddenly talking of the firm conviction. And by equating firm conviction with realization or realization with firm conviction, these wrong ideas are coming. Let me refer to Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Kahor, one sage, Ushastas Yagyavalkya, please tell us about Brahman. He himself knows something. Yat Sakshat Aparokshat Brahma, Ye Atma Sarvantara, Tanne Bruhi. He understands, right, Yagyavalkya, that he has understood a lot about Brahman, but he has not fully understood it. So he says, Brahman is that which is beyond any relativity. He understands, keeps quiet. Next man, Kahol comes up and asks the same question. One word is changed, but the idea is not changed. Yes, Sakshat Aparokshat Brahma, Yatma Sarvantara Tanme Vyachakya. That please explain to me. They are not asking about two different realities. Yajnavalkya immediately understood. This man wants to know how to experience that, or the changes which are caused while we are experiencing that. Not only the nature is transcendent, but if we realize that, what happens to us? Now this knowledge of reality comes by steps. Slowly, slowly we absorb it. So Yajnavalkya tells him, the first response or first reaction will be, you will lose your desires. As Narada said, Sanakamayamana. You will lose your desires. Now, more knowledge is being absorbed. He says you will become Pandit. Pandit is not a scholar. Panda Atma Vishaya Buddhi. Sa yasya bhavati sa Pandit. Panda means our thinking based upon Atman. And when one gets it, he is called Pandit. So your whole life, your whole thinking, feeling, everything will become permeated with Brahman. That is the knowledge being absorbed little more. Then when knowledge is absorbed still more, he says you will get Balya. Balya has two meanings, power or childlike egolessness. Both you will get when your knowledge is absorbed more. Then it is absorbed still more. What will happen? Yajnavalkya says you will get Maudam, the meditative nature of mind. And the meditative nature of mind also is absorbed. Knowledge has gone fully deep. Then what happens? Narada says you will become Brahmin. Brahmin means a knower of Brahman. Now by our habit we ask, what happens after we become Brahmin? Narada replied that he lives as he likes. That is history. Enasya tenasya. Morality of a Brahmin, Brahmin means a knowledge of God, is what he does is moral. You cannot put any rule on him. He is beyond all rules by his very nature, by his being knower of Brahman. This is the reply he gives. In the light of this, how can we say that after realization one has to be cautious? After realization, now we read in many books, even a sannyasi should be cautious because from grihasthas are learning from him. After realizing God, caution will follow him. He does not have to follow caution. In Gita, Bhagavan says, Yadyad achariti shreshto tattadeva itaro jana sayat pramanam kurte lokas tadan vartate. What he sets becomes the standard. So now the question comes, what does this sutra mean? What is this sutra? Bhavatu nishyadardat urdhvam shastra rakshanam. Now, the gurus like Narada are tremendous psychologists. We have heard from him the real nature of bhakti, and in such grand detail and with such precision, explaining every small point. What is the result in our mind? We have not realized what that moment. We have understood. We have become firmly convinced of what bhakti is, nothing more than this. Narada's description of real bhakti has made us firmly convinced this is real bhakti. Now, many times what happens, I'll give an example. People learn homeopathy by reading homeopathic books and they feel all the symptoms on their own body. If you learn the symptoms of different diseases from the homeopathy book, you will think you are all the symptoms. So Narada is a great psychologist. When we really understand the picture of bhakti, we feel we have got that bhakti. And Narada is telling you have not got it, you have understood it. You have not got it, you have become firmly convinced about it. You have not yet got it. At this stage, now 2, 3 mistakes are possible at this stage. First mistake is, I have known, I don't require anything now. That is wrong. Second, okay, I have to do sadhana. Now I can follow my own mind and I can do sadhana. That also is wrong. Shankaracharya has told in the Gita 18th chapter, a man of very high spiritual caliber, who is about to realize Brahman but not yet realized, he can commit mistake. He can overcross the limitations of dharma, he says. Dharma atikramana hetu. So, understood. Conviction is the starting point. Experience becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. We realize. During this time, we should not stop sadhana, neither we should go according to our own mind. We must follow the Shastras. Shastras are the unfailing guides. Where we get the Shastras? Narada is making the Shastra for us. Narada is giving the Shastra for us. So he says, now understand the connection. In the Bhakti Swarupa, this sutra has come because Narada feels that we have understood, made a dharana, made a firm conviction about Bhakti Swarupa, though we have not yet achieved it. At this stage, what should happen is, Bhavato, let there be Shastra Rakshanam, strictly adhering to Shastra. Shastra does not mean, say Shastra and do this or do that. Shastra means the unfailing guidance towards the further progress. And now, another point here. Up till this point, we could not follow the Shastra properly. Now, we can follow the Shastra. And we should follow the Shastra. Both are included in this meaning. At this point, you are fit to follow the Shastra. At this point, you must follow the Shastra. Bhavatu nishyadardyaturdam Shastra rakshanam. Then, why? Why? Anyatha patitya shankaya. Shanka. By chance, by luck, you may reach the goal. I don't say no. But there is a doubt of your falling down. Narada does not use the word falling down. No, I have used tentatively. Patitya, the tendency to fall down. If you do not follow the Shastra, there is a tendency to fall down. I'll give an example. In Calcutta, we have talked of Maidan one day. There is a Fort William. Many stories below the earth. That is the fort. Now we are approaching the fort. A little gradient is given, little slope down. We do not feel even that we are sloping down. So gradually it is. When we have walked sufficiently, Shri Ramakrishna's example, when we have walked sufficiently, then we feel, oh, we are 4 stories below the earth. This is called Patitya. Another example, this rocket science. If the angle becomes 0.00001 degree different, it will not go to the moon. It will fall somewhere else. This is Patitya. So the tendency of the mind to fall, there is a doubt that there will be a tendency of the mind to fall anyatha. That means if you do not follow the Shastra. Narada is so solidly serious about our welfare that he is giving the unfailing guidance. And there is telling, you might have been fully convinced, you might have made a right conception, but that is not, you are not achieved bhakti up till now. At this point, you can follow the Shastra. At this point, you must rigidly follow the unfailing guidance. Otherwise, there is a likelihood that you may get the tendency to fall down, resulting in fall down later on. But it is patitya. Now, because Narada is telling everything, so we feel we ask Narada something more. Two more questions Narada will follow. How long should we follow the social rules? And how long we have to eat food or dietary rules? These two questions we are asking Narada here. I think better. Next class, you see the Sutra 14. I will read, will not explain. Lokopita vadeva Vajanadi vyaparastu, when two is argued there, a sharira dharanadapi. A sharira dharanavadi. I will take up this in the next class. So, we have been under Narada's unfailing guidance. Om Jayati Jagati Maya Yasya Kaya Davaste Vachana Rachanamekam Kevalam Chakalaya Dhruvapadamapi Yato Yat Krupato Dhruvoyam Sakala Kushala Patram Brahmaputram Natosmi Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna